Community Profiles with TV Rotorua and the Rotorua Energy Charitable Trust. Welcome aboard to another edition of Community Profiles. With me right now is Eric Hollis, who's one of the driving forces of a team of people, I guess, at the Sexual Abuse Centre here in Rotorua. Welcome aboard, as I say.
Hi,
I'll be looking forward to this because I know, unfortunately, there are aspects of society that have now necessitated the setting up of a sexual abuse centre.
Well, you say that unfortunately today we need those things, but of course this problem's existed for many, many years. And the Sexual Abuse Centre in Rotorua has existed for some 25 years now, founded in the late 80s by a group of women as a collective, and slowly it's converted itself into a public and community resource. And obviously we provide quite a range of services, from simple help desk calls where people might be asking for advice or concerns that they're not sure quite how to make sense of those things.
Because there's probably a lot of ignorance in the marketplace as to what the implications are, for example, with children, particularly.
Yes.
The wounds and the scars that are lifelong and so on are probably, we see the headlines, don't we? But we don't normally.
Well, the sad thing is, though, that you know, when children are sexually abused, they rarely disclose that during their childhood. It comes to light perhaps 20, 30 years later as cases of historical abuse, and people are realizing that their whole life has been affected by the implications of what happened to them. They can't get it out of their minds.
And when it does surface, it affects the wider family and friends, etc. as well.
Well, I've met men in their 60s who've decided to go into counselling, and they always say, I just wish I'd done that 20, 30 years ago, because I've just missed all that close community time with my family.
That you guys are doing, nothing's wasted in the sense that they can come and get help.
We have a counselling service which is totally free to anybody who's experienced sexual abuse and who wants to get some counselling for themselves or for their families. They can come through, we've got 3 trained counsellors there. They can either come through funded by ourselves or funded by the ACC.
Interestingly enough too, we made the call before we went to air about the fact that you don't have to be referred to your service. People can walk in off the street and say, hey, I need help, or something's going on, and I think you need to know about it. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's a walk-in service. As you know, we're based at a community house next to the library, and people can just pop in, they can talk to somebody there on the spot, or they can make an appointment.
You have got a couple of new initiatives too in the time as well. Let's talk about those.
Well, two very exciting new projects. Up until date, we've been able to counsel people 14 years and over. Right. So there has been a limitation because, as you refer to the fact that there is increasing awareness of child sexual abuse. So we actually have a new child play therapy unit opening in February next year. Okay. That's been supported by a fantastic fundraising initiative here in Rotorua, and lots of members of the community have given us money to enable us to achieve that.
And the second aspect, just quickly?
The second aspect is a new family wellbeing program which is funded by the Ministry of Social Development, which enables us to pick up the pieces after a family's been through horrendous sort of inquiries and traumatic processes from sexual abuse discovery. They're able to come through and get advice, get their lives back together, and just know how to relate to all those things and get their lives back together.
Well, it's great touching base with you, and I'm sure that people now know that they can go and get advice from you. And one of the things, I guess, just to finish off very briefly, Eric, is the fact that you are symbolic, if you like, of people that are prepared to listen.
Absolutely.
And this is one of the most important aspects, isn't it? Having an ear for people to unload things and talk to you.
We say that working with children, the most important thing is have your radar switched on, because they won't necessarily tell you in words. It'll be their behaviours that tell you.
All the contact details are going to come up on the screen, so they'll probably be able to get in touch with you in a detailed way with websites, phone numbers and so on. Thank you for joining us.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you.
Good work. Well, thank you for joining us here on Community Profiles. I'm Wayne Douglas, and we'll see you next time. Community Profiles with TV Rotorua and the Rotorua Energy Charitable Trust.